New tonight at 6, a man in Van Buren is being accused of sexual extortion of a 17-year-old from Florida. Zane Barritt was arrested last week by Van Buren police. Police found out about the alleged offenses by a tip from Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida. Report says Barritt messaged the victim through Instagram and then threatened to release sexually explicit content of the victim. A phone number and separate text messages with the victim led investigators to Barritt. We learned this evening a plane crashed in the eastern part of Arkansas near Parkin. State police there have confirmed all 3 people on board have died. A plane heading from New Orleans to Jonesboro lost contact with air traffic controllers in Memphis around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. After 3 hours of searching, crews found the wreckage. The 3 victims have been identified as 59-year-old Bob Clark Bolton Jr. from Heber Springs, 52-year-old Stanley Mitchell, and 56-year-old Michael Montgomery, both from Jonesboro. The FAA and NTSB are now investigating.
Well, just one day after authorities identified the camper killed in a suspected bear attack in Newton County, we're now learning about another bear encounter in Franklin County. This one reported over the weekend. Ozark Highlands Trail Association says 2 hikers camping at Salt Fork Creek spent nearly 6 hours Saturday night trying to drive off a black bear that kept coming back to their campsite. No one was hurt, but the bear reportedly wouldn't leave even when the 2 men threw rocks and made loud noises. The next morning, the hikers walked to White Rock Mountain and reported the incident. Staff there then called Chris Adams, the maintenance coordinator for OHTA, to alert his crews who might be working on the trails. Adams says with the recent unusual bear behavior, safety is top of mind.
Luckily, these 2 gentlemen that were harassed over the weekend at the Salt Fork, there were 2 of them and not a solo backpacker. So we're going to start doing our maintenance in a lot of group activities, more than 2 or 3 or 4 people. We're going to change some things.
This incident was reported to Arkansas Game and Fish and to the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. With concerns about the unusual bear behavior, Game and Fish says they're looking into possible causes. We asked them about chronic wasting disease or prion disease, and they say there's no evidence of those right now. In North Little Rock, former police officer Tommy Norman now knows when he'll stand in front of a jury for domestic violence charges brought against him last month. Norman was absent during his court appearance today, but his attorney filed a not guilty plea on his behalf. He was arrested last month on a charge of 3rd-degree domestic battery. Following the arrest, placed on administrative leave and later announced his retirement, ending nearly 30 years with the North Little Rock Police Department. Throughout his career, Norman was often recognized for mentoring youth and leading initiatives aimed at fostering trust between police and residents. Well, happening this week, Walmart's annual open call is underway in Bentonville. 5 News reporter Claire Everbach visited the Walmart campus today and learned about how the event connects entrepreneurs with company leaders.
They're making, growing, or assembling something in the U.S.
Jason Frimstead, Senior Vice President of Supplier Development for Walmart, says Open Call celebrates Sam Walton's Buy American initiative.
So it really creates this opportunity for us, but also, as you got to experience today, this amazing atmosphere when you bring all these entrepreneurs together.
Entrepreneurs from across the country will pitch their products directly to Walmart and Sam's Club merchants. Frimstead says they're looking for items that stand out on the shelves.
We want them to understand, what separates your item, what's the differentiator, why should we carry it, why are our customers and members going to love it?
And sharing the story behind the product is equally important.
Tell your story. It's that resonance with our customers and our members, so we really want entrepreneurs to tell their story about their business.
Cindy Hall works for Free Reign Coffee, a small business based in Texas that made it onto Walmart shelves in 2024. Hall says the partnership has helped the company in ways she didn't expect.
We have grown so much over the past 12 months due to partnering with Walmart. It's been a great partnership. We've met the most awesome people. Could not have asked for more support than what we have.
And the experience has shown her the impact that collaboration can have on small businesses.
How much they care. They truly, truly care about small businesses, giving you a hand of lifting you up to help you succeed. That's what they're all about.
Covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
Our coverage of the Open Call event continues tomorrow when the entrepreneurs will officially start pitching their products.
It is day 7 of the government shutdown, and the effects are being felt by federal workers all across the country. At airports, delays increased because of staffing issues with air traffic controllers and TSA agents. President Trump suggested today some furloughed workers could be denied back pay once the shutdown ends. He also said he'll be announcing layoffs and the elimination of programs within the coming days if the shutdown continues, and the blame game from both sides of the aisle continues for all this. One of the biggest debate topics has been health care and if certain groups of people get access. Kanisha Dees verifies if Democrats are proposing every undocumented immigrant will receive free health care.
As with any government shutdown, both political parties are casting the blame on each other. The Democrats claim the GOP is responsible for rising healthcare costs, while Republicans say the DNC is holding the government hostage with a, quote, far-left wish list. One of those proposals includes funding for the health care of undocumented immigrants. But do the Democrats really want to provide every undocumented immigrant free health care? Let's verify. The official White House website now has a government shutdown clock on it, titled "Democrats Have Shut Down the Government." Several GOP lawmakers are echoing this sentiment, claiming that Democrats are making outrageous, far-left requests that, quote, Americans don't agree with. One of those requests is allegedly free health care for undocumented immigrants. But are Democrats proposing free health care for undocumented immigrants? We verify. Our sources are the whitehouse.gov, the Senate Democratic Caucus, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the National Immigration Law Center. Here's what we found. According to a memorandum released by the White House, the Democrats are demanding that some of the reforms signed into law is the Working Families Tax Cut Act be repealed. The White House says this would result in the federal government spending nearly $200 billion on health care for illegal immigrants and non-citizens over the next decade. However, according to the Democrats' proposed Senate appropriations bill, it would only restore health care coverage for, quote, lawfully present immigrants, not for immigrants living in the U.S. illegally. In fact, there are federal laws that prohibit using federal funds to provide health care to undocumented immigrants, with one significant exception: emergency care. What the Democrats' bill does propose is extending the ACA enhanced subsidies and rolling back Medicaid cuts that were part of President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. The biggest question here is the term, quote, lawfully present. This term refers to non-citizens who have qualified immigration status that makes them eligible for Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program. This includes lawful permanent residents, refugees, and those granted asylum. The One Big Beautiful Bill changed coverage for non-citizens by capping the amount of emergency Medicaid funds that providers such as hospitals receive and reimbursement for care given to immigrants. It also changed the criteria for Medicaid enrollment to exclude those granted asylum and parolees. Parole is a legal permission granted to non-citizens that allow them to temporarily live in the U.S. for urgent humanitarian or significant public benefit reasons. About 2.8 million people were granted parole during the Biden administration. Republicans argue that parolees are in the country illegally and should not be covered under the Democrats' extension of Medicaid. So, we can confirm that Democrats are not proposing free health care for undocumented immigrants. The argument is whether parolees should be included in the term lawfully present individuals, which is not clearly defined in immigration law.
Meanwhile, Hispanic Heritage Month is ending next week. October also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and one local healthcare organization recognizing the two, helping raise awareness for breast cancer risks in Hispanic women. Baptist Health in Fort Smith held a program today to give Hispanic women resources and free screenings for breast cancer, limited awareness of recommending screenings, barriers to care, and language differences give Hispanic women heightened risk for the disease. Dr. Wilson Cruz led the program today in Spanish, says education is the base for prevention.
If the patient doesn't know what they are facing to, so it's impossible to get any pass forward about the awareness and the prevention for this kind of problem.
Program is also done in partnership with the Donald W. Reynolds Cancer Support House in Fort Smith.